Hello and welcome to a demo of the asset management or compliancy management system in Oval4biz. My name's Caleb and I'll be walking you through how you can get your environment set up to track all your compliancy for your assets. I'm in our testing environment today, which is famously Shrek themed. That's the most important thing you need to know. Oval does let you customize, so you have a bit of fun, and it's Shrek. Now, I'll mostly be working inside of this assets menu today. My menu likely looks a lot bigger than yours because this test environment has everything loaded. You might only have a few of these, but I'll be working in assets today. And I'll start by showing you just a bit of an overview of what are the different areas and how they work. So I'll start with equipment. This is basically your asset register. Anything from a building to coffee cup or anything you want to track compliancy for, or have a record of in general can go in here inside of equipment. There's also project templates, which are basically compliancy items. Things like emergency exit light testing, test tag, water filters, things that need to be done, annually, monthly, quarterly, 6 monthly. These sort of kind of templates for what kinds of compliancy items can be tracked against equipment. There's also equipment types, and these are ways of classifying equipment. So I'll probably be using buildings and property today, and depending on which equipment type you pick, it can change the behavior or turn things on and off for that particular equipment. So let's start by setting up some assets, but before I do that, I'll briefly go over the equipment type I'll be using today, probably buildings and property. So inside of buildings and property, there's a few things you need to do. So I want to make sure that I have show and track servicing on. That'll enable my compliancy tracking for this equipment type. For example, if I had things like patents and IP, well, I would have all of these turned off. There's no defects that I can record against these things. So these equipment types let me change the behavior of different equipment. So notably, what I want to have on is show and track servicing. So let's create a building. I'm currently on the Cairns branch. Now, assets are scoped to branches. So if I switch to main, I've got a few things on main. But if I switch to Cairns, I've got nothing. So your assets are per branch or per site. Most of the time, people have these set up as sites, but you could have them set up to whatever you want. You may only have one branch, in which case you probably wouldn't even see this drop down. But just want to be on the correct branch, and it adds a separation between those assets for the different sites. So we're going to set up some assets for Cairns. And DACTech doesn't have a Cairns office, but it does now. So we're going to do a DACTech office building in Cairns. And I'm going to pick that buildings and property equipment type as well. I'm going to leave the other options blank. There is a lot of other information you can attach to equipment, but I might cover that later. So here's my DACTech office building. And in terms of compliancy, I'll want to be looking at this servicing tab. Now, what you can see, there's no services currently recorded against this equipment, but I do see a couple of projects here. And what you'll notice is these are coming from those templates that we looked at earlier. Now, this has done some magic behind the scenes. And when I created my equipment, it auto-assigned a few compliancy items. The reason that happened is if I click into this and I go to the project template. So this is a project. It is emergency exit light testing for DACTech office building. So this is a compliancy item tracked against that specific asset, and it's for this that project template. So emergency exit light testing, and what we'll see is it's actually attached to the buildings and property equipment type. And what that means is that newly created equipment with this type will automatically be assigned this compliancy item. And if I go back to the menu, we had 2 stored against buildings and property. So when I created that piece of equipment, it auto-assigned them. So it did some magic behind the scenes. So there's a little automation that can be done there. If I didn't want these here, what I could do, or if I wanted to change anything in terms of the compliancy, I can edit DACTech office building, and I can see assigned service templates, and I can go and replace test and tag with you know what, generators. Let's say this this building has generators, or maybe it needs a cooling system done. Cool. Now under servicing, I see these 3 projects, and they're all on schedule, which is amazing. But if they weren't on schedule, if I open up the project, we can see there are 3 dates. So this is what frequency is this? Emergency exit light testing. So this needs to be done annually, which means it's set the due date automatically to 29th of July next year. If I wanted to change this, I would edit, and there's 3 dates here. There's the due date, there's a first warning, and there's a second warning. And there are email notifications attached to these as well. I'll talk about how to enable emails in a bit. There's also these contractor fields, which if you specify name and email, that contact will also get notified on these 3 due dates. So that's a way you can attach an external contractor as well. So if I wanted to edit the date for this, I will say maybe it needs to be done, you know what, it needs to be done August of this year, let's say. And it's automatically gone and set my 2 dates. So I'll save that. And still on schedule, which is good. It's not overdue. But if I changed my first warning to before today, it says due soon. So there's this also this status here that says if it's on schedule, or it's due soon, or it's overdue. If I go to equipment projects, I'll see these 3 projects here as well. Now that I've got these compliancy items, what I can then do is, if I wanted to fulfill this or track a service against it, I can do that as well. So I might go and show you the dashboard quickly. So there's a couple of helpful dashboards here. The one I want to look at is this equipment projects dashboards, which pretty much just shows you exactly what we've seen before. So this is a kind of an at-a-glance information. There's also this guy. If I find equipment projects by status, this is a nice little graph of, so we can see 1 that's due soon and 2 that are on schedule. So if I wanted to record a service against this, I would open it up and I can click add. Under services, I'll pick the it's autofill from the drop down, and you know, I can also upload all my service documents and things like that. Great, here's my service log. It's stored under equipment logs as well. So inside of equipment logs are things like service logs, if equipment got moved, kind of like an audit log trail sort of thing. So here's my service. And what you'll notice is this project has been updated. It's now on schedule. It's been assigned to next year, and the last scheduled date was today. So that's how you can track your compliancy items and what needs to be done, what's on schedule, things like that. I'll talk about how to enable the notifications now, which is a bit of an adventure, so come with me. So under admin, and you may not, if you do not see this menu, you're obviously not an admin, in which case you can't do this, you'll need to contact an admin. So notifications are defined underneath security groups, which are pretty much security roles or permission sets for different roles, things like that. So I'll probably want to change this admins one. There's probably two main security groups that you'll notice. There's admin and there's all users. So all users by default is every user in the system, and it's intended to grant a base permission to everyone. I have only a couple of base permissions assigned. Most of them are none. So I've left this mostly no access unless I specifically grant it in another security group. So the other thing is the admin security group, which only has 4 members, and they've got admin access to everything. Now, to enable notifications, I'll want to find this equipment module and tick the email box. That ensures that everybody inside of the security group will also get notified of any compliancy items. So there's that due date, there's a first warning, and there's a second warning that you'll also get notified of. I'm not going to enable this because these notifications get quite annoying when they come from when you have a whole bunch of testing environments and a whole bunch of test data in it. So don't want to get spammed with emails, so I'm going to leave that off. But if you wanted to do that, you just press update there and make sure the people who want to get notified are in that security group. There is no way to turn off notifications per user. It's only per role at this stage. Cool. I'll briefly touch on defects, which is a defects register. You can track defects and resolutions, and you can attach services to defects and things like that. There's also usage templates, which are kind of like pre-checks or logbooks, things like that. If you have a forklift that needs a pre-start checklist before someone goes to use it, you can define that here. So there's a few different areas of this asset register that you can explore. And there's also this inventory management, which I won't touch on today. Now, I mentioned that equipment are scoped to branches, but there's also some security involved in that. So if let's say I've got my Cairns branch and my main, and I want to define who has access to which branch, or I want to restrict access to so only my Cairns people can see my Cairns stuff and my main people can see my main stuff. So I can also define that in the security groups. So at the moment, this admin security group has branch all, which is effectively a global permission. And because I am Caleb admin and I'm in the security group, that way I have access to switch to any branch I like, full admin access. So the other thing you can do is have security groups be per branch. So we've got these Cairns user, which is kind of a default permission set for the Cairns branch. And this security group only grants permission to that specific branch. So anybody in here, these guys, these are all my Cairns. I've kind of set it up to simulate that I've got some Cairns users here. And they've all got some basic access to my Cairns branch as well. So there's a way to restrict access there. And there's also departments. So departments are underneath branches as well. So underneath my main, I've got a few departments. Underneath my Cairns branch, I've got a few departments as well. And the reason that's important is because inside of my assets, I can attach this to a department as well. So if I wanted to attach this to sales, only my sales people can see this. So it's scoped to branch, only people who have access to that branch can see it, obviously, but if I select sales, only my sales people can see it. Now, if I select no department, everybody in that Cairns branch can see this piece of equipment. And the other thing that's important is that admins, if you are admin of equipment, you can view, edit, delete, everything like that. If you are only a department member, by default, you can only see the equipment. You can't change anything. And there's also there's also department leaders that you can set up, which if I go to departments, we've got members and then managers. Sometimes it's called leaders. So Cairns sales member and Cairns sales leader. So the Cairns sales member would be able to see this equipment, but not delete or edit. And the department leader can edit and delete things like that. So that's the departments. I believe that's mostly everything that you'll need to get set up. So yes, feel free to go and build this out any way you like. I've said desktop office building, but it could be as granular as you want it to be. It might be room 1, room 2, floor 1, floor 2. You can have all these types of assets in here. And this is the main area you'll be working in. So hopefully that helps with setting up Oval4biz to track all your compliance. Let us know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much. Bye.